Do you have a long, thin garden? Well, how you plant it can make it look much bigger and much more beautiful. In February, the Middlesized Garden YouTube channel went to talk to Posy Gentles about her long, thin town garden. And because there's really no plants in February, you could really see the shape of the garden and what she was going to do to it. So now it's June, everything's in flower, and it's time to go and see what her tips have done to make a difference. It's Alexandra from the Middlesized Garden YouTube channel, bringing you tips, ideas and inspiration for your garden. If you have a long, narrow garden with your beds on either side like that, then it will look longer and narrower. Posy's beds, she's firstly got a big bed beside the house, then she's got a patch of lawn, then there's some more planting, and then there's a vegetable patch, and then at the very end is the shed. And by going across like that, she has really disguised the long, thin shape of the garden, and you can't really see where the garden begins and ends. The other thing that a long, thin garden needs is height, she said, because the thing is about something high, like an arch, or some tall, thin trees or something like that, is that it gives the eye something to rest on as you go down the garden. So the eye pauses and then it goes on, and it gives the eye more of a sense of going on a journey, more of a sense of discovery. Posy's got 3 birch trees just slightly off centre in the middle of her garden, and these give her terrific privacy from the windows opposite, and of course they don't throw any shade on either of her neighbours' gardens. But she was also going to throw away a large swing bench. But she thought, well, perhaps if I put that halfway down the garden as well, that will give the added height that the garden needs, and also another lovely place to sit and enjoy the garden. Meanwhile, at the other end of the garden, there used to be a shed and then some hard standing and a bit of terrace behind. Posy rebuilt the shed last year, and it's a lovely quirky shed, and she's decided to make much less hard standing around that area because there is so much hard material in a town. There's walls, there's houses, there's paths, there's terraces, so she wants it to be greener and wilder. And she excavated the terrace, and underneath she found a path. So there was layers from previous gardens. She then wanted a biodegradable path so that she wasn't leaving a path for future generations to have to dig up. Posy chose seashells, which will slowly biodegrade down, and they will just become part of the soil. It definitely helps a long, narrow garden, or indeed any sort of small garden, to have some big plants and some big leaved plants. If you have small borders with small flowers in them and small plants, the whole thing will look a little bit sort of dinky and regimented. So Posy has got some amazing large plants. Posy's planting mixes soft shapes and vintage colours like this beautiful climbing rose, Madame Isaac Pereire. But the plant that everybody just always wants to know, what's that, is another rose. It's that spiky sculptural one in the middle there, and its name is so complicated that I can hardly pronounce it. But if you'd like to know what it is in the links in the description below, along with a link to Posy's garden consultancy business. The plant with the dark stems and the fluffy lilac top is the Thalictrum black stockings, and that's a lovely plant for giving sort of just shape and airiness and colour. Posy changes her garden almost every year, and that's something you can do too. If you've got a small town garden or a long narrow garden, because it's not a huge area, it is easy to experiment. She has dug up the path herself with her sons, and equally you don't always have to bring in lots of hard landscaping. You can cut a new bed and see what it's like, and then turf it over the next year if you don't like it. And the same with paths. If you want to try out a path, you could perhaps use something that biodegrades, like bark or seashell mulch, before making a big investment in hard landscaping, so you can decide where you really want the path to be. The Middlesized Garden YouTube channel uploads on Saturdays with tips, ideas and inspiration from you, and visits to private gardens. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit like, because it gives me an idea that you'd like to see more private garden visits. Hope to see you again. Thank you.